Here we are, Revenge of the 90s, episode closing in on 200. And can't give you an exact figure, but we're close. And we are talking about a movie before Valentine's Day. Good timing. One of the all time great rom coms, the movie that catapulted Julia Roberts to superstardom. 1990s Pretty Woman, which was a new watch for me. I don't know if.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So this was a new one for me, and what a delight. What an absolute delight. Although extremely disappointing to find out that Julia Roberts used a body double for her most risque scenes. Because I remember I remember as I was watching it going, look, Julia Roberts standing in front of me on my screen doing anything. I look at her and go, this might be the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life.
For sure.
But then in Pretty Woman, when she's getting it on with Richard Gere, you go, I can't believe I'm being treated to this version of the hottest, most beautiful.
I was wondering why you
hottest,
kept
like
sending me blurry cell phone photos from the movie. I was like, yeah, no, I know. We are doing Pretty Woman.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. Yeah, she's good in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this actually was a double bill for me because I had also just watched Erin Brockovich for the first time.
Oh my God.
You know I'll tell you what, man, Julia Roberts is a bit of a blind spot for me. There's this, it's very odd to me that a lot of her stuff, like her big stuff,
You only knew her from the Ocean's movies. Oh yeah, this is Danny Ocean's wife from the Ocean.
Yeah,
this
that woman.
Tess.
That woman. She must really want to do Ocean's 4. She must not be doing anything else. No, I also know her from God. I talk about? I'm like blanking on the name of it. It was the one from a couple years ago she did with George Clooney. That one.
Something Paradise, right?
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I really liked it. Whatever the name of it was.
They're gonna be in Ocean's 14 together.
Finally, now I'll finally recognize her in something.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm on a bit of a Julia Roberts quest at the moment, and I'm all the better for it because she's just the most magnetic personality on screen.
Yes.
And it's very clear in Pretty Woman that she was just very destined to be that type of actress. I loved it. Long story short.
That makes me happy. Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot we're almost to Valentine's Day, which is actually my wedding anniversary. So I need to remember that. But
just give her a shout out here and you'll be fine.
Yeah, babe. Happy anniversary. we're almost episode 200. We did it.
Yeah, that's her present.
There you go. Yeah, no, this is a great movie. This is the epitome of a bigger 90s movie. This is one of the ones that you look forward to when you're doing a 90s movie podcast. And yeah, it's so fun to see somebody know what the end result of their career is. Obviously, she's still relatively young. She presumably has many movies ahead of her still. But know that this person goes on to become the biggest actress for the next 15 years, and you get it. It's cool to just, you feel the juice. Okay, I understand what audiences from 30 something years ago. And I think that's what's cool about it, especially for somebody who's watching for the first time. It's universal. Like when you're seeing somebody who has that star quality, it's hard to put into words, but you just feel it and you know it. More recently, I think it's seeing Glenn Powell. I don't think he's going to be like as big as Julia Roberts, maybe, but seeing him in Top Gun Maverick, I was like, oh, damn. Who is this guy? And then some of his post Top Gun Maverick choices are interesting, but still he's leading Twisters. But yeah, man, it's very fun to revisit this, to see a young movie star about to take flight.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I really loved about this is that it's maybe the perfect example of like when two people have that heat and that chemistry and it just oozes off the screen and it makes for it's such a difficult thing to pinpoint and you only know it when you see it. But when you watch her and Richard Gere doing their dance throughout the movie, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
He's stiff and he's little awkward, a little reserved, and she's the hooker with a heart of gold, and she's so magnetic and vivacious and all that. That as you're watching it, you just have this feeling of I'm seeing a real relationship. These are two people that I'm like so drawn to on the screen that it completely elevates the film and makes the movie so much more than what it was like maybe intended to be. Like it's that magic of casting. It's probably the hardest part of filmmaking, I would say. But
Yeah,
like when it's nailed,
dude, for sure.
it's like that the reason that it's the hardest thing is because it's the most like abstract thing. That it's like I don't really know until these two people get together in a room and you go, "Oh my God, that's it."
And
Like,
you're trying to recreate an actual emotion that is the most personal thing ever, which is chemistry and love and romance. And you're trying to, it's not just like, hey, who would make a great buddy cop duo? It's like, okay, they're funny together, they look good, but there's so many movies where they didn't get it right. Or it's, oh yeah, I get why those two are in the movie together. They're both beautiful people, but
dude, I'll tell you what. Talking about Glenn Powell, Anyone But You
yes, oh my god,
has that like
yeah.
doesn't work for me in a
Oh,
way.
it doesn't. Oh my god, I love it so much.
Okay, so I've seen parts of that movie, and I'm something's not working for me
Okay,
in terms of maybe it's my I like Sydney Sweeney and some of the stuff that she does.
okay,
But
I was
like
thinking
there's
about a
some
completely different movie. You're correct in what you're saying.
oh
Yes,
okay
you're 1,000% right. I was
okay
thinking of the one with
Zoe Deutsch.
Zoe
Oh no,
Deutsch.
that set it up, that was going to be my next point, which
Okay,
was
perfect.
that one I saw
Yes,
recently, and I was like, these are the two I'm like, I was like,
because I thought you told me you love that movie, and I was like, yes, dude, it's so good.
no, yeah, I do love Set It Up, but Anyone But You, from what I've seen of it, I'm kind of like, there's just something not jiving here, and I can't. Maybe they're both too beautiful. Not saying Zoe Deutsch is not beautiful because she's absolutely beautiful, but she can tap into a different emotional core that brings out a different like where I don't see Sydney Sweeney like doing that much in her roles and the chemistry. It's also chemistry. It's Zoe Deutsch and Glenn Powell together. It was like, holy shit, you two are like actually in love, and I'm like jumping up and down.
And they're both
wanting
so funny, naturally funny,
charming, and
charming,
funny, and
like
beautiful people. It's yeah, everything you want. And so yeah, again, it's that magic pairing that you don't know until you get it. With Pretty Woman, dude, I was like the laundry list of people who were involved in this or were considered on the men's side. It was like every name on the book. And then again, for Vivian, it was every name in the book, and everybody but Julia Roberts. And then it came down to it where eventually her name, she had been in a couple things.
Mystic Pizza, which is super good.
Yeah. And so, there was something else a big one she had coming out that was the 91, whatever it was.
Oh, Steel Magnolias, maybe?
That's it. Yep.
Love
And
Steel Magnolias.
she had some heat, and it basically was her and Richard Gere got into a room together, and Richard Gere wasn't going to do it until he met with her, and then he was like, oh, I see it now. And then that was again, even him, he was like, I don't know, I don't need to do this thing. And then he was like, he got in a room with Julia Roberts and was like, I have to do this thing. You get and that plays through in his performance because he's this transfixed dude from the start, from the moment he meets her on the street. Which again, if any of us, I think, met a hooker who was Julia Roberts, we probably would throw our lives away.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, you would. That's the conundrum is you're like, you expect all hookers to be Julia Roberts. And yeah, they're definitely not.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of romantic comedies. Okay. So I meant Set It Up. Did you watch The People We Meet on Vacation yet? On Netflix?
I don't think I have. No.
It's good. It's very good. Very good chemistry.
Oh, my wife watched it. My wife watched this without me. I came in like toward the end and I was like, oh, I wanted to see this. And she said tough.
Yes. Not waiting.
I guess I'll watch it by myself.
It's good. It's really good. I really dug it. I was very pleasantly surprised by that one. Netflix can nail a rom-com.
They can. Yeah.
Because Set It Up was as well. But yeah, so Pretty Woman, basically Richard Gere, he pays the gist of the movie, if you haven't seen it like me, is that Richard Gere is an extremely rich, he's a corporate raider, which was like a big thing in the 80s, which was like basically dudes who, it's called private equity now, but like guys on Wall Street would basically just hostile takeover companies and corporate raid and all that kind of stuff. And he's basically that. But he's never like a jackass. He certainly is portrayed as being like almost like having morals about it.
Yeah, he's hyper focused, but also spoiler ends up doing right by the company that he's
correct. Yeah,
put in
exactly.
charge of.
Very yes, exactly. Like in a very Hollywood like type of ending where everyone comes out okay. He's trying to acquire this like shipbuilding company, and he ends up meeting Julia Roberts' Vivian character, our beloved prostitute. And basically, after they hook up or they have a transaction, he asks her to stay for the week because he's got all these different events that he's going to for the week, and he needs a woman on his arm. And he agrees to pay her for the week to essentially be his girlfriend for the week. And from that point on, you get them slowly falling in love. You get a fantastic shopping montage or two, trying on clothes, all of that, all of the stuff you'd come to expect. You get to hear Go West's King of Wishful Thinking, which really was like what a rom-com song that is. So you get all the ingredients here. You get all the late 80s like music. You get the montages. You get Julia Roberts being like a hard nut to crack, and being like really abrasive with everybody at the swanky hotel, but then she melts all of them. And
Yes.
They all love her.
Yes.
So it's got it all, man. It's really got it all. It's got Jason Alexander right before Seinfeld.
Yes.
Playing a big giant creep. It's a big slimy lawyer, as you expect.
Tries to sexually assault Julia Roberts' character. That was
man, for like for no reason. It's weird.
So I put in the notes, there was like a weird thing that would happen in 80s and 90s comedies where all of a sudden it's pretty light for the most part, and then there'd just be this super serious plot twist. Like have you seen Cocktail?
No, I haven't seen Cocktail.
Okay, Cocktail's great. It's a movie about Tom Cruise becomes a bartender at TGI Fridays in Times Square. He befriends like this international bartender. They start a bar together. They're doing all the crazy tricks. They have a falling out, and he follows him to, I don't know, the Caribbean or something. And then it takes a twist. He commits suicide. His friend does. And you're just like, wait a minute. This was like a comedy for 90% of this movie. Why did this just happen? And it shocked me the first time I saw it. But yeah, the movies from the 80s and 90s, or especially early 90s, they kind of stopped doing this. Probably 93 would just all of a sudden have a super serious high stakes moment or two that just didn't fit anywhere else in the movie.
But yeah, it makes some sense in this because like there isn't necessarily a ton of inciting action
right
in it. And so otherwise it's like, hey, I'm falling in love with this prostitute and it's going pretty great. And I think I'm gonna
you can't care about the shipyard company as their main plot point. You know,
like I don't know if I care about the old man getting paid out. It's not a big deal to me. But Vivian's well-being, yes, I do care about that. So I guess there has to be like some inciting incident here, and that's like a further catalyst for Richard Gere's character to be more inclined to do the right thing, and realize that he wants to be with her. But yeah, that was it's just like I don't, for better or worse for him, like it's like hard to envision Jason Alexander having that type of streak as a character. It's like you just only know him as George Costanza, really, despite anything he's ever tried to do beyond that. It's like, oh, there's George Costanza committing sexual assault. That's weird.
And I try as much as I can to avoid any interviews that they do now about Seinfeld because they just came across as such assholes to any of the actors who were just a day player coming as like a character. Apparently he didn't get along with the woman who played Susan. He's like, his whole thing was like, oh, she's so hard to act with. And it's like, you're not. Seinfeld is super funny, and I love Seinfeld. I watch it all the time. You weren't doing these Meisner scenes. It was just like, we're doing a bet about jerking off. Like, how hard can it be to do a setup and punch down? It's not that hard. Kramer's going to burst in the room with a crazy scheme. Stop pretending like you guys are doing this crazy tightrope, high level stuff. Because every time they interview, they just seem more pompous about the stuff we were doing. No one can even envision it now. It's like, no, there's actually harder. I think you should leave. It's actually harder to do well, to make it something that's understandable and actually funny. Like,
well, and even however, a decade later, it was like 30 Rock basically did it.
Yes.
I was like, 30 Rock basically took your concept and did it just as well, if not better in some. For sure. Trust me, I love.
Yeah, I know you and I both love Seinfeld. It's just like, every interview, I'm like, God, just get off my algorithm. I don't want to.
Oh, no doubt, dude. Yeah, and I could see to some extent Jason Alexander being like, dude, I do not want to talk about this shit anymore. But it always was like, even before the big blow up at the comedy club, like every interview with Michael Richards always seemed like the darkest interview known to man. Yes. And like it was always, and he always just seemed like he was operating. He was like, I have to get to an insane place to play Kramer. And it was just like, I don't know, man. Like it just, you seem dark. Jerry Seinfeld never seemed willing to open up about like the show and the process.
He also dated like a 16-year-old and was picking up from high school.
He was dating a 17-year-old, like a high schooler during that time. And he's a lot like Larry David, in that like Larry David is like a crotchety type of dude. So those are interesting personalities. The one person that comes out of this relatively unscathed is Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, she's like, oh, it was a job. Now I just went and did 3 others where I like destroyed it and won Emmys.
Yeah, exactly. Where I think there actually is something to be said about how the other 3 never could evolve beyond that show.
And she could transcend it and be like, and look at it. I'm sure it was more than just a job. Obviously, it set her career in this trajectory, but she probably looked at it more as a job instead of, I need to immerse myself into Elaine. It's like, oh no, this is like what Elaine is all about. Now I'm in this show called Veep, and this is what this character's about. And I'm going to do this show. And it's just, yeah, she was able to be successful. And obviously they were all successful. They all made tons of money and were on the most famous show of the last 30 years. But yeah, it's just a bit of a bummer every time, because they just apparently were just pretty shitty to everybody who came on. And it's just, you don't need to be that way. It wasn't that serious.
Right. Yeah. Well,
also the guy who played Kramer in the Jerry show, he wasn't probably as good, but he probably didn't need to. He played a great version of Kramer. You don't need to go into a cave and pretend you're Brando and to play Kramer. Like, it's such a stupid thing. I hate it.
Yeah, I feel like I'd never. Yeah, you didn't hear that a lot with sitcoms. Yeah, they really were trying to operate on some completely different level.
Yeah, they're going to have the same legacy as Friends, and Friends was like, hey, those are the cue cards. We're going to read those. Okay. And the audience.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to mention that. It never felt like Friends was treated that way. Like, they were all just goofing around half the time.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I think I'll say it like this. And like, yeah, that's funny. Good bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jason Alexander's in this. If you want an early Jason Alexander role, you'll get him as Philip Stuckey, the lawyer. Hector Elizondo's in this.
Love him.
As the general manager of the hotel. He's fantastic in it. You also have Laura San Giacomo as Kit, who is one of my favorite sitcoms, Just Shoot Me. She plays Maya. Do you remember that show?
Dude, oh my God, she does play Maya. I love Just Shoot Me. Yeah, that show was great.
Dude, Just Shoot Me was one of my like sick day type of shows.
Oh, yes.
Or like
that and Wings.
Dude, fuck yeah. We've talked about Wings so many
News
times
Radio.
on this show.
It was just like that triumvirate.
Wings was either before Price is Right or something like that. But I remember a lot of summers like watching on USA Wings and Just Shoot Me a lot.
My dad would make me a tuna sandwich and we'd watch that during the summer.
Yeah, Wing. Yeah, Just Shoot Me, man. God, I loved it. It was so good.
Great cast.
Such a good cast. And Wendy Malick, I believe, is in Shrinking now.
She is such a good character in Shrinking. Yeah.
Yes, I've just
She's
started
been
going.
since season 2, I think.
No, she's in season 1.
She was. Oh, okay.
I just started watching Shrinking. I hadn't started it yet. It's fantastic because I was like thinking about Bill Lawrence and Scrubs coming back, so I was like, I gotta check this out. But anyway, it's a great cast, man. Just Shoot Me is just one of those never knew how good we had it type 90s sitcoms where it was like, even that was 97 and it was like buried under like all the best stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah, this is like the 15th ranked sitcom, and it's just like
exactly.
This would be like number 1. This would be leading ABC today.
Correct. Yeah, it's just so goddamn good. I've been rewatching the Drew Carey show.
Oh God, yes.
You can watch it on Pluto. So I've been like starting that one again. And that's another one that's maybe being from Cleveland, it was like a bigger thing for me because it was like, oh, and my dad's in an episode. My dad's in the episode where they go to the Browns game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he's in the crowd. He's in the line or whatever as they're like trying to get tickets.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, there's the through line. So there's lots of good people in this beyond our leading cast. But yeah, so anyway, do you think that you would, if we were to play out the string on this one, how do you think this would go for you? Would you, if you were in Richard Gere's position, you probably make the same choice, right?
I would have just been with her the whole time.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I'm not going to any of my meetings. I'm calling out sick the whole week. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, he comes to that realization eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I would. This plays out the same. Yeah, and I show up in a limo to have her move to New York with me. It's just such a slam dunk. And even if you have nothing to talk about, just the chemistry. But they do. They seem to have tons to talk about. They get along great. He's a great compliment, or she's a great compliment to him. He provides a safe space for her. He's thoughtful, and once you get past his rough exterior, he actually is a very caring, compassionate person. So yeah, it's not one of those like, and you don't expect it to be because it's such a beloved rom-com, but there are a few that you're just at the end of it, you're like, no, don't, like, why are they ending up together? I know they're the two leads, but they haven't been good together the whole movie. It's just forcing it to make it be a rom-com. This one, you're just like, oh my God, absolutely yes. And your only reservation is the fact that she's a prostitute, but that's also part of it, is not judging based off of that, because she has stuff that she teaches him too. And I'm fascinated by the sex work industry. I did my Mount Rushmore movie prostitutes. I had Honora, obviously. I just won Best Picture last year. It was great. Vivian, obviously, Pretty Woman. Alabama, played by Patricia Arquette, and True Romance, which is a 90s movie we have not yet done, which I love. And then the last one, probably Rebecca De Mornay in Risky Business, but also put Elizabeth Shue in Leaving Las Vegas. So lots to choose from.
Yeah, you do send me your updated list on this a lot.
A lot, yes. Yeah. My kids are just like, Dad, like, stop muttering about this.
Yeah, you're always tinkering with your top prostitute list. Also, I love your personal note that when you first moved to LA, you basically lived right where they worked.
Yes, I lived 2 blocks from where they worked. Yes, I was in a multicolored on the outside. It was like a rainbow colored almost apartment complex. The inside was nice. The outside looked like a dump. But yeah, it was great. When you first move out to LA, you're like, oh, I'm sure Hollywood Boulevard is beautiful and glamorous, but it is just such a hellscape of now just people dressed in character costumes, forcing you to take photos. I remember at one point, I temporarily lost my job with the Oscars for budget cuts for 2 months, but I had a wedding to pay for. And Kelly, my bride-to-be, wouldn't let me take my Gumby Halloween costume to Hollywood Boulevard to try to earn to take photos with tourists. She's like, you're going to get stabbed, because 2 Spider-Mans had just one of them gotten stabbed and died like a month prior.
2 of them. I like that. 2 of them got recently stabbed.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, so she had a legit reason to feel.
Yeah, it wasn't safe. But yeah, it's and then you also get some great driving scenes in this movie, 80s, 90s LA. Again, such a
Yeah.
incredible vibe, mood. You understand why people fall in love with Hollywood. Where you have these portrayals of it, even the seedier side of it, because there's all this other beauty that, that surrounds it. So it's just, it's not that we talk about those movies like Ninja Turtles, that 80s and 90s version of New York where it's like it's a hellscape. You
Yeah,
won't
right.
live it.
Yeah. I always view that way about movies in LA at night too, where
Oh yeah.
like they're like you will get fucked up here. But LA during the day, it's paradise. That's how
Well,
I always view.
what's so funny is there is just it's LA is so big. There's Beach LA, there is Beverly Hills LA, there is Hollywood Boulevard, Broken Actor Dreams LA, there's Old School LA down by Wilshire, there is Industrial Park LA that you're getting in collateral territory. There's downtown LA, which is where you're going to have heat taking place, Den of Thieves, like that kind of stuff. And there's all the different suburbs. You got Glendale, Burbank, Pasadena, where Pasadena is where Father of the Bride takes place. So there's just so many different versions of LA, which is what's so cool about it.
And with the way things are going in the industry, there's fewer and fewer projects being filmed in LA proper.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it becomes a bit of a like I even as I was watching it and seeing some of the just even setup shots of LA, it was just like nice to see because it's so classic Hollywood.
It is.
And Pretty Woman is very much like a bit of a time capsule type movie, very much old school Hollywood, like right in that sweet spot of rom-coms and the way that they used to make those and those tropes and all that. But it's such a like nice feeling of a movie despite being about whatever. It's like ignoring the seediest aspects and like dangerous aspects of prostitution. It just in true 80s fashion, like glosses over anything to be remotely serious.
We're not talking
again,
about that. Yeah.
No, which is again why they had to probably shoehorn in like a George Costanza, Jason Alexander moment where it was like, fuck, we got to put something in there that shows that she's like a hooker in trouble. Because
For sure.
Because she face that all the time.
And it's great because like Richard Gere does help her. He sets her up in a position to be successful and to overcome all these bougie people in Beverly Hills. But she also has like her own autonomy and also conquers them, which is also like one of the reasons I like Honora, because she goes toe to toe with these like Russian oligarchs, and she isn't ultimately as successful as Vivian is in this. But there's just, I think, something universally uniting about somebody telling off somebody who's like really snooty and pretentious. And you get that in this movie, the famous where they don't let her into their store. Okay. Don't fully blame them because, to be fair, it does have a homeless problem. And there are instances of, and I want homeless to get as much help as possible, but there are also instances of homeless people going into stores and throwing shit and destroying property. I don't think there was risk of that at all with how Vivian presented herself. She just wasn't dressed how they like. So, but I get the essence of like we don't want our $1,000 clothing getting destroyed by people, but I don't think there was a risk of that with Vivian. So like they should have been guarded and maybe questioned a little bit more, but shouldn't have immediately dismissed her, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. She's not necessarily, she's not like dressed like horribly. She's not wearing what she wore when she's a little more reserved, I think, in that scene in what she's wearing. Like she's not wearing like her
I think she's wearing her like the white tank top.
Oh, is she wearing like the white tank top?
Yeah. That's like 2 days old.
So, yeah, she probably smells a little
probably
bit.
Smells a little bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
but still.
Look, I have to assume those women working at that store, like you said, they've probably seen it all, right? So I have to imagine, yeah, they have some reservation of who is this person we've never seen before coming in here. But like again, you've got to have some. It's like very like 80s, that's such an 80s thing, is like the like snooty upper class.
Oh, for sure. It's
And like
tremendous.
especially like a snooty person working like in a retail environment.
Oh yeah.
That's like what a like 80s trope that is, to be like, could you imagine anything worse than being asked to leave a store? Like
Yes,
you would,
exactly.
because like again, it was like that's like just like peak shopping culture. And it's
Yes.
just like you couldn't imagine
Yeah, and
being
Beverly
some.
Hills is always like the mecca of it, where it's like it's got everything. And so no, it's if you there's that mall in like Vegas that has all the same stores. It's like you're
Right.
indoors the whole time, so it's great.
Yeah. Okay, so you lived not far from Hollywood Boulevard then.
Yeah, when I first moved out here, I lived 1 block south of Sunset and 2 blocks south of Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay. Did you ever get propositioned by a prostitute?
Not there. I've gotten propositioned 2 times. One
Okay.
time was in New Orleans at the sex club that
As
our professor took us to. We didn't realize, to be fair to him, we didn't realize it was a sex club. We just thought it was a strip club. But he probably shouldn't have taken us there anyway, because
probably.
we were all under 21, but we just greased the door person. And then people started having sex on stage, and then he was hammered, and he said, "We should get out of here." I'm like, yeah. So I went to find the bathroom, and these two very naked women are like, "Where are you going, baby?" I'm like, "I'm trying to find the bathroom." They're like, "Oh, it's upstairs with us. Come on. It won't cost much." I'm like, "Oh no, I don't, no, thank you." And I just like got out of there. And I think my brain is misremembering this, but I swear to God, the place had a dirt floor. I don't think it did, but in my brain, I think it did.
It had peanut shells, like you were at that restaurant where you can just throw the peanut shells on the.
Yes. And then the other time was with David Jeffries, Teresa Strebler, and company. And they were all using the restroom at the Casino Royale, and very lovely prostitutes. "Hey, baby, what are you up to tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, just hanging out with my friends." And she's like, "Oh, that sounds fun. How about you and I hang out together?" "Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you, though." And then I ran into her 10 minutes later when Teresa said, "We should get weed." And I'm like, "Let me ask this woman." And then
Think she
her
might
and
know.
Teresa semi hit it off. And then she gave us a recommendation for somebody at one of the dispensaries. So
I
she
love
was
it.
lovely. Yeah,
Yeah, there's your hooker with a heart of gold.
exactly. Yes.
That could have been your Julia Roberts.
I know. 10 years married at that point, but
Oh, okay.
had it
Okay. I
happened
wasn't.
11 years prior, you never know.
That's true. You never know. Another place and time.
Yes.
You very delightful hooker. Yeah, no, I've never been propositioned. No, never. But I have. This was God. This had to be. This was this was before I was married. But when I was younger and had recently turned 21, a couple times, like very naively led into back rooms at strip clubs where they were like, where like you're just kind of like walking the strip club floor, and then like a woman just like grabs you by the hand and takes you into this other room,
Yes.
and like all of a sudden you're out $150 because she's like, "I'm gonna keep you in here for a long time."
I had a very familiar experience with 2 friends of ours where I was trying to unionize a strip club while they both came running out after 45 minutes, one of them begging me for cash. I won't say their names.
I remember sitting at a bar
Yes.
waiting for you guys
Yes.
for quite some time.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we were in Canada. We were in college. We were in Canada at Niagara Falls, and it was like we went up there for the night, and it was this crazy blizzard. A blizzard that actually kept us there for 2 days.
Oh wow.
And it was like we couldn't even get past Buffalo getting home. We had to stay in Buffalo too. It was like hellacious trying to get there and back. But what was cool was that it was such an insane snowstorm that we were walking the road, that main street of Niagara Falls with all the kitschy,
Yeah.
Ripley's Believe It or Not and all that. You couldn't see 5 feet in front of you, but we were walking that main road, and we were just just us. It was literally just the three of us. And all of a sudden, out of the snow appears this guy named Moomsad, and he was talking us up. And Moomsad was like, "Hey, you guys should come back to my room, and we can all smoke." And we were like, "No, that's all right. We'll just go smoke in our room. It's cool." And he was like, all right, hey, have you guys been to Sundowners? And we were like, no. And he's like, that's a strip club where they'll do anything. And we were like, okay, that sounds nuts. And we never got to go. And for years, we would always joke about it. And then eventually I was there again for a bachelor party. And I was like, we should go to Sundowners. So we go to Sundowners. And it's just a strip club, first of all. But it's like, okay, I've been there. I've been here before. But this is where I was naively dragged into a room or just didn't have time to protest, more or less. But basically, within 5 minutes of being there, we had one buddy who crashed into a server who had a whole tray of shots, and he spilled them everywhere. And then, as that was happening, the stripper must have seen her opportunity, grabbed me by the arm, takes me into this room, and she's doing. Granted, she was doing all sorts of crazy stuff in this room, but talking about her son the whole time.
I mean,
it was like
amazing.
It was like she was sitting there. It was like she was bent over, and I was like, I'm like nose to butthole here, and like I'm hearing about her teenage son. Yeah, Sundowners is a place where a lot of stuff will happen. That's for sure. But I don't know if it was in the way that Moomsad wanted us to think about it. But like, but dude, that was crazy. It was like I didn't like any of it. I didn't like any of that, for the record. But yeah, so that was the close. I wouldn't even say the closest. I've never really been propositioned, but like I've definitely had a few weird experiences with like being on like this. That's an interesting transactional relationship with like a stripper, where like that was a time where I was like, I don't actually want this.
Yeah.
I don't. No, thank you. But
Yeah.
like you're in a weird position. You can't really say no. Once they drag you in there and they start like doing their stuff, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna run out of the room?
That's like the only move, but it's not a
But
thing
dude, like
anybody
also,
does.
but also like you do in some places run the risk of, if you do that, like if that stripper's in a bad mood or something, could be like, I'm gonna go get security.
Yeah, and it's
you're
like they
like-
tried to walk out on a dance
Yes.
or whatever the cost was a day. I can't, like you said. And it's funny because I feel like the hardest contracts to get out of are like a timeshare and a number of dances you agree with a stripper, where you're like, no, I'm good. I just actually want to leave. And it's like, no, baby, you said 4 songs.
Yeah,
And it's like-
exactly. Or I'm already on you as the second song started. That counts.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's another $90. You're like, oh God.
Fuck. Yeah, man. Yeah. God almighty. Yeah. So that was Sundowners. It was like
Amazing.
definitely not what I thought. But it was a good story. This poor woman who just really had to get some things off her chest with her son and whatever the state of their relationship was, but also had to be like giving me the backroom treatment of
Right.
of a dance.
Absolutely. Yep.
But yeah, no, I never, not even like by any Cleveland hookers or anything, which I
Ah.
assume they're there. I assume they're around.
Oh yeah,
But-
they're there.
But yeah, no, I've never had the luxury, and certainly never by any that looked like Julia Roberts, because then
All bets are off at that point.
yeah, all bets are off. Yeah, my life takes a different trajectory.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay you $40 for the week. I've got
Right.
some meetings, and I need you on my arm.
And before we end, that's my only nitpick of the movie is she's probably a terrible prostitute in terms of business, because
She clearly is. Yeah, she is.
Richard Gere has just picked you up in a Porsche. She knows what the car is, so she knows how expensive. He's at the nicest hotel in Beverly Hills and has a penthouse. And he's, how much for the night? She's like, you couldn't afford it. And it's like $300. And it's like, no, I certainly can. Like, I'm wearing a Rolex. I found that so funny.
Oh yeah, and like they definitely portray her in it as being like a naive prostitute, where she's
Yeah.
like, I just came out here and fell into it. Like they definitely make her like very sweet about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like, yeah, and Richard Gere on his side is like, she was also lucky to run into who just so happens to be like probably the one kind-hearted corporate raider
Exactly.
known demand. So it all
Exactly.
worked out. Because originally, I guess the original script for Pretty Woman was like some movie called like 3000, which I guess actually is. At first, I was like, why the hell would they call it that? But apparently, it was because of the money like amount that they agreed upon was like 3000 for the week, and it was going to be like a very dark movie where like Vivian was on drugs, and like the part of the deal was that she had to stay off cocaine for a week, and like there was like a bunch of other stuff like within it that basically just made it like a very like dark drama type of thing as opposed to a bouncy light rom-com. But I'm always fascinated when like original scripts start out like that and then get fed into the machine and become what they are. And I'm like, do you even, if you're the original writer of the script, and like certainly you get, I believe, like a credit for it, but like at that point, do you even think of that movie as yours anymore? At that point, like,
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a where so many iterations happen where it's that's like a fundamentally different tone. All the things that become beloved about the movie are like not part of what, because that's his whole thing is he's doing drugs, but she's just flossing, and because he's like he has no tolerance for drugs. And I mean,
yes, yeah, and he's
granted, you just picked up a prostitute off like Hollywood Boulevard, buddy.
yeah, she really shouldn't be so high and mighty about that.
Yeah, it's a bit much. She could have had a gun on her. You didn't even check any of that, and you're
Right.
giving her an attitude about in the early '90s whether she might be using cocaine. Come on.
Yeah, he's like, I won't stand for that. It's like, yes, I am a hooker, so I don't know. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But okay, so the guy who wrote the original script is J.F. Lawton, and this is actually, from what I can see, the third J.F. Lawton movie we've done because he also wrote Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves that we've done,
Okay, nice,
and then he also wrote Under Siege.
dude. That's incredible.
So he's got some killer credits. Oh, and Under Siege too. Hell yeah, we still got to do that.
Nice.
Yes. So, all right. That's Pretty Woman. I would say that it is a wonderfully classic rom-com, a total just delight to see these two on screen together. So much magic in that chemistry and just that electric feel that you get when you see. That's why rom-coms to me work so well as a genre, is that I would almost, certainly in other genres you get this, but the entire movie hinges on that aspect. Are your two leads going to match together? If they do, you've got magic. If they, it's a forgettable bummer of a rom-com.
For sure.
It's nothing. Because when it works, man, it is unbelievable. It's the same way in real life, the chemistry between two people, where it's an unexplainable, amazing thing that you just witness and know it when you see it. That's what you get with Pretty Woman. So for me, seeing it for the first time, that was what I just gravitated towards and really dug it.
Makes me happy.
Yeah, man. And you love it, obviously.
Love it.
Okay, good. Great. All right. Good. That's this Valentine's Day episode where we talked a lot about hookers and strippers' butts in my face. So, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. That's our episode on Pretty Woman and
It's love.
Yeah, and just love in general. But that's it for now. Rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we will catch you later.